The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 83. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing? Carl, how you doing, man?
Good. Got decent sleep, I guess, last night, but the night before was a bit rough, so, you know.
Oh, okay. All right. It's good you're with us. And Burley, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. The birds let me sleep till 5 a.m. this time.
The birds. It's like the birds keep waking Burley up, man. Yeah.
This is the only thing I hate about it. I don't mind, like, I can deal with the skunks now being out again when I go for walks in the morning, but I just hate, the birds are back, and I'm a light sleeper, so even a small bit of their chirping just wakes me up.
Yeah. My advice, Burley, get a pellet gun. You take care of them really quickly that way. I'm just kidding, man. That's like kidding.
No. That's a simple solution. You got to think on a grander scale. I need all the Infinity Stones.
Right. There you go. The
Snap them out of existence.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I guess if I'm going to do a snap, I might as well fix a few other problems. All politicians and lobbyists.
That'd be nice. I mean, but
yeah.
Usually probably just be selfish with those things.
Right.
Yeah. You could just like maybe, I don't know, add some ambient noise to your room, like fan noise. That might help.
I've tried the fan noise. I do have a white noise machine that I shut off. It's on a timer, so I'm gonna try that over the next couple of nights of just instead of turning it off, the timer, just keep it running the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we got a big show for you today. Of course, we're going to be talking about our rapid-fire weekly news topics, and our topic of the show, of course, talking about should gamers, start a series from the beginning, or is it okay for them to start the series from the latest release? We'll talk about that in some of the series that we would recommend starting from the beginning or starting from the latest release. We'll talk about that. And we'll also be talking about the new game releases coming out and our picks of the week. But before we talk about the games that we've been playing this past week and streaming, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and post-show in audio and video formats, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post-show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at the Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, I'll start first. I've been playing Watch Dogs Legion, so I
Cool.
started playing it, and it's just more Watch Dogs, hacking doors, hacking into things. I played through the first couple of missions, and I've established the base, and it's like below a pub, and you start out with 3 characters, so you have like about 12 characters on the list to choose from initially, and you can choose 3 of the 12. And so I've done that, and I've got the base established and everything. So basically it's all about DedSec again, so it's continuing off from the second game basically, but you're in the UK in this game. I've gotten into a car and driven around downtown London, which is pretty cool. I mean, the graphical fidelity there is really really good, but it's the driving is similar to Watch Dogs 2 and Watch Dogs 1, but the facial features on the characters are pretty bad. I mean, there aren't any improvements from the second game really, that I can see so far, and I still have not yet got to the point where I can start recruiting team members from off of the street. So that's what they were promoting so big about this game when it first launched, was that
Yeah.
any character in the game you can recruit to be on your team. And so I'm looking forward to doing that still, to see how that goes. But I mean, you can use points and everything to upgrade your, like hacking abilities, and to upgrade your drones and upgrade all those other things. So similar to Watch Dogs 2. So yeah.
Do you know
So
about how long you've played? Because it seems like they want to get that feature in pretty quick.
yeah, I've played for a couple hours. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's that's pretty quick. But I mean, walking around, that's the next mission for me. So to be going out into the streets and then recruiting people.
Okay,
So
you're right there. Okay.
yeah, I'm right there. I'm pretty close to that. All right, so Burley, what have you been playing, man?
On my personal time, I've picked up back up with Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Whoa, yes, good job.
Is that I
Good
well
job,
I,
Burley.
well, it's just like I was given that game as a Christmas gift, but it was like just I haven't had the time. But it's nice when I do have free time to sit on the couch, just have the Switch and just go. And I am a Fire Emblem fan. Fuck, it's fun breaking your weapons over and over again.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I get the reasoning, but it's just like, but
I've
but
never been
I
a fan of that type of mechanic. But in this game, it's like you upgrade your weapons often enough, right? Where it doesn't matter
Oh.
too much, and it's relatively cheap to repair most of them. Of course, when you get like really good weapons, it can be costly in some materials.
well that's the thing. Like I'm at a point where I'm every battle I'm doing, I'm getting quite a bit of money. I'm in
Yeah.
like chapter 5, and I'm really enjoying the story and having a lot of fun with it. But for streaming wise, I finished up Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and I'm
Okay.
hoping to get some footage for that so we can do an extra take on that soon. I had
Yeah.
a lot of fun with that game, and I've still been going through Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
Mm.
That game's hard but fun.
Mm. I say. Okay, Carl, what have you been playing, man?
Mainly, I just finished Life is Strange: True Colors.
Okay.
And for the most part, it holds up. As we talked about before the show, as I
Right.
didn't want to do spoilers, there are problems I have with the things that happen in the story.
Okay.
A sort of direction it takes where I'm not really as interested in that aspect, like because I really enjoyed just the small town interpersonal relationships
Right.
are done really well. So
Right.
the other aspect, I think, is just more generic and not as interesting.
Mhm.
It's not bad, I would say.
Yep.
And overall, I think it's a good game. I wouldn't say it's actually a great game, although I'm still interested in playing more of these type of games. It's just like it feels by the end of the game, you sort of feel like you do the same thing. The entire game is just like talk to these people, say 1 or 2 things, go over here, maybe find this thing you need there, make this thing choice there.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's a very simple game.
Yeah.
There isn't much thought to what you have to do.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like you're walking down the street back and forth and going into building after building after building and talking to people and trying to find something that you need. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean each chapter is sort of like resetting the same locations,
right?
So you had to do something slightly different in the same places.
Yeah.
Which I understand why it makes sense because you're living in this town. But yeah, I mean, chapter 3, as Burley was super excited about, has the most interesting difference in the way the game plays. Do something really fun and interesting there.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool. It's good.
My question to you is, since you've completed this, does this series make you want to go back and play the first game, or maybe the second iteration that came out of Life is Strange?
Yeah, I would like to check out another one, a different one. Maybe just like look at the options and pick the one that may be the most appealing, lead characters or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wanted to play through this again really quickly and maybe make some different choices and just to kind of see how things play out a bit. And I did start it over, but then I realized that you cannot skip dialogue in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like you cannot, like at least I had to just wait through everything, the entire game, and it's really annoying. And I got pretty decently into chapter 1, and I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I just can't. I want to fast forward through this, and it's not. I was making different choices, and I appreciate like all the dialogue that you get from the different choices. Like it's all well done, and it's interesting. You do get a different feel sometimes from the way they interact with the different choices, but the main choices that you make, you think might matter that much. They don't. I don't seem to so far. So whatever.
Yeah.
What can you expect? As long as they feel that way, that's how these games have to be.
Yeah.
I tried to play one other game briefly, briefly last night called Norco.
Oh.
It's on PC Game Pass, and I just checked it out because like it had really good reviews, and it's like I thought it would be something that'd be interesting because I like those point and click adventure type games, and it's something like that. And I think I played like maybe 15 minutes, and I'm like, I don't like this at all. I'm like, I'm not really. It's weird. It's very. It's almost like a visual novel in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
With text adventure, point and click adventure sort of stuff to it, and there's even some combat, which is really bizarre as well. The way that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it's written. It's kind of strange and abstract at the beginning, and you make choices in the text, and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm making these choices. It just really seems like it's for flavor. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it. Who knows?
Yeah, I have to admit, last week I was saying I was playing Chinatown Detective Agency, but I got into kind of a rut. There's a point in the game where you have to go into a library and you have to do research on a computer. And of course, this is a point and click adventure, but I mean, you have to find like a particular book from a particular author, and you have to find these quotes. And there's a bunch of quotes in like another pop-up menu, that you can, do searches for. But then when you input them into the computer, you can't copy and paste those in. You have to literally type every single character.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible.
God.
It's terrible. I'm like, nope, that's it. I'm done. I just don't want to do that. Yeah.
Isn't this on console also?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. Yeah, it's on Xbox.
So how would that work? You have to like type like on the on-screen keyboard?
On screen.
So
no,
just
you use
go
your
in
controller.
there.
Yeah, that's right. On your controller.
Go to queue.
Yeah, that's miserable, man. Yeah, I was like done with that. Nope.
I imagine the game would probably tell you if you're on Xbox, plug in your USB keyboard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just why can't you just press A and then it copies it to the computer where you can then input it, but it doesn't do that, and so you have to memorize that whole like paragraph. And then have to type it in. I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I'm done.
I hate that kind of stuff where you have to, they give you the clue in the game, but now you have to re-put it in. It's like, why do I have to, I just found it the character auto input.
Yeah.
I'm lazy like that.
Yeah.
No, because you're playing, like you're controlling a character. And once that character has the information,
Yeah.
then the character should just be able to use that information. Like they'd use
Right.
any other weapon or item they have at their disposal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our weekly news beat. So one of the biggest stories that we had this past week, of course, was Amy Hennig's working on a new Star Wars game. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars games in development, but she had a game in development for Visceral Games. I think it was back in 2017 that was canceled. I think it was called the Ragtag Group or something like that. And now a new game is coming to fruition. It looks like she's getting started on this. And there was a lot of discussion about whether some of the elements of the Ragtag Group would actually be implemented into this new game. We don't know exactly for sure if that's going to happen. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on Amy Hennig now starting on this Star Wars game, of course, that she's going to be with her development studio Skydance, working with Lucasfilm Games. I'll start with you, Carl. What do you think of this, man?
I mean, it's great that she gets to work on this again. Obviously that didn't work out last time. It's just she hasn't put out a game since. I mean, I think she worked on some of Uncharted 3, I believe.
Right. Yeah, she worked on a little bit and then she left. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that was the last thing.
Right.
Other projects all got canned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that doesn't change her ability to write, but I don't know like how much. Who's in charge? Is she in charge of the studio? Like I don't even know.
Yes, she's in charge of the studio.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't know what to expect from her, like other than the fact that like I know she's good at writing.
Right. So I'm sure the story will probably be very good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
And on top of that, see, this is something that like I remembered and like I had to go look up, but like she also that same studio and her are working on a Marvel game as well.
Yes.
And this was back in October of 2021 that they announced this. So like you're telling me they're working on both a Marvel and a Star Wars game that's supposed to be like a big narrative-driven AAA thing, like put a lot on her plate for someone who hasn't put out a game in a very long time.
Yeah.
And a studio that's, I'm assuming they haven't put anything out. This is a brand new studio, right?
Right.
I believe. Yeah.
Burley, your thoughts?
I'm interested to see what'll come out, but since the studio is called Skydance, does that mean we're getting a sequel to Star Wars Connect? We
can only hope. Right?
Kylo dance, Emperor Snoke dance.
Emperor Snoke dance. Yeah.
I'm very interested. Glad she gets to actually do a game because she had started all that work on her last project, and then that just got canned.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see her get another chance. Hopefully this one pans out, and hopefully it's a good project.
Yeah.
But as I said, I think I said this on the morning show. Don't try and tie it into any current Star Wars or in the past of let's go back just before this, but just at the end of episode 6. No, just go 1,000 years from where episode 9 ends, and just so it's so far removed, and you can just tell a fresh story. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, because the supposed Ragtag game that she was working on with Visceral, it was supposed to be like right after episode 4. Supposedly, so I don't know. We'll see. So, all right. So next up, of course, this is up Burley's alley here. Ghost of Tsushima. No more updates incoming. So they talked about their last update, and so that's going to be that. Burley, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, they've been putting updates for this game for 2 years, so it kind of makes sense. They did their director's cut, and last I played of the game, it's run fine for me both on PS4 and on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So I can kind of see them. I want them focusing on a new project. Please don't be Ghost of Tsushima 2. I love this game.
It will be. Come on.
I know. That's what I was just about to say that, Carl. It's going to be Ghost of Tsushima too, man. Yeah.
Make a new Infamous or make a new IP. Again, like they knocked it out of the park with this game. It doesn't need a sequel. Like director's cut was great because you gave me extra DLC content, another island. That's all I ever needed, and the Legends mode. So that was. I'm just hoping they don't go for more stuff, but it makes sense that they're going to close after 2 years. That they're not going to just be sitting there patching the game, because I don't see people bitching about problems on the game.
Carl, your thoughts?
I mean, it's weird that this is a story because it's a single player game. I mean, yeah, they added multiplayer. You know, we don't. No one usually talks about like when a single player game stops having updates, but yeah, I mean, just move on. You know, like go to the next game. I mean, it's not like they wouldn't still fix patches, like fix bugs. If someone found a new bug, they're gonna patch it still.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're just saying. I think they're just trying to say that we're not adding anything else to the game because they have supported this game in a way that I guess you wouldn't have expected, right? From a single player game.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they should do. I don't know. If they do another game in this style, I don't know. I mean, what if they did? Okay, how about this, Burley? What if they went to like mainland, like Japan? And we were in a city, different character. Would that get you?
That might get me because
Right,
I am a sucker for this. I will admit it, because the quality they did put with the game was really good.
Well, yeah, because they were fighting the Mongols. So obviously, if they're going to go to the mainland, make it like the Sengoku Jidai, where it's the warring provinces, and have some character related to one of the provinces and his area and the fights that he has to take part in and everything like that. So like during the, the 16th century, I mean, that would be, probably one of the best, when it comes to the warring states and, constant battles and, a story that they could put together for that, like they did with Ghost of Tsushima, where they, were battling the Mongols. So on the islands. So, but yeah, I mean, they could do that, Or they could make an Assassin's Creed game, like kind of like where they're or like a particular ninja family or something like that.
Already like Japanese Assassin's Creed.
It is like Japanese,
kind of, but make it even more where it's like
it's better than Valhalla.
Yeah.
If you put it in a city, then it becomes more of that. But if you're talking that era, it's still different. I think that'd be a really cool way to go, just because. You don't have games like that, and we know that they can do it because Infamous takes place in big cities. So like, they don't obviously wouldn't even be that big of a city because it would be whatever year this is. I don't know.
Whatever year.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's the
or because the original studio that did the PlayStation Battle Royale is gone. They get in charge to make the sequel. Now we got a bunch of new characters. You can bring Jin in there like that.
I don't think they're gonna make a fighting game though. This studio.
Well, the two Mongol invasions in Japan were 1279 and 1281. So I mean, that's farther back. So I've talked about this game not being so much historically accurate because there's a lot of elements to this game that are more Sengoku Jidai when it comes to the armor and other things. But that's another issue. But it's a great game. I'd love to see them go in a different direction though. I mean, and like you guys were saying, just I don't know, man, just make a new IP, we'll see. But okay, let's move on. Next up, of course, a game that was close to me, of course. I love the Assassin's Creed series. Assassin's Creed Origins is coming to Game Pass, and they're saying that it's most likely within the next 2 months. So we're probably going to get it in June, but it is going to be coming to Game Pass, as well as the For Honor game, I think it is, as well. So, but Assassin's Creed Origins, this was probably kind of this new version of Assassin's Creed, in the sense that the world just became so much more open, and the dialogue choices when you're talking among other characters and things like that. So I mean, it's an amazing game, and I'm really hoping, and I talked about this on the morning show too, I really hope that they implement and also add the Discovery Tour, because this was the first Assassin's game that had a Discovery Tour. put to it as a part of the DLC. I mean, that is an amazing part in itself. I mean, if you're into history and you want to learn about Egyptian culture and everything, I mean, it's an amazing part of the game. So I'm hoping that they'll put this with the main game as well for Game Pass. But anyway, your thoughts on this, Carl? Go ahead. You start first.
That Discovery thing, that wasn't like paid. It was free, right?
Yes, free.
So I assume you can just get it if you have.
I'm hoping
the game.
so. Yeah, I'm hoping they put it into Game Pass with the game as well. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like this game. I played it. This is the last one I really played. I guess I have Odyssey, but I didn't really get into it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But this game is so old right now, and
Came out
you
in
can buy it.
2017. Yeah,
Yeah, you could buy it pretty cheap. I really think they should have splurged and tried to get Valhalla for Game Pass, because it just, when you look at just the idea of adding a big game, you want it to be something somewhat recent. Like we've kind of expected that from Game Pass as far as this type of third party thing, and making the big deal out of it. But I guess maybe, who knows what the deal is? Is Ubisoft hesitant to put something that new on there?
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I like this one. I think it's,
yeah.
I think it's more interesting to put this one on there than Odyssey, even though I think people like Odyssey more. This setting I think is more unique. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't want to give any spoilers away. I won't say anything about the characters too much, but I mean, whereas Odyssey, you had the option to pick either the male or female protagonist to play throughout the whole entire game. Whereas in Origins, you're playing mostly as Bayek, but then you do play, as the other female character in certain briefly in certain missions. Yeah, and I think probably with Odyssey, I think Cassandra is more of a likable character than Bayek in a sense, but. That's just me, but I mean, I think probably a lot of other people would agree with that. So, anyway, Burley, your thoughts?
I'm glad that they put this up here. It saves me money for buying or play this game another way, because I have to try this.
Yeah,
but I think I understand Carl's thought of putting Valhalla would be nice on there, but Ubisoft is probably not wanting to lose any sales on that. Whereas Origins, I think the mass people that were going to buy Origins at this point already have bought in the game.
Well, let me just throw this out here for both of you guys. Of course, Rainbow Six Extraction came day one to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What do you guys think about the next version of Assassin's Creed coming to Game Pass day one?
No.
They knew with Extraction. Let's be honest.
I'm talking about the what is it, the live service game that they're talking about for Assassin's Creed. What is it? I forget the name of it now. It's
I don't know. Yeah, whatever they call it,
isn't it?
Maybe
Infinity, I think it's called, or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe that'll come.
Maybe, but here's the thing: that Tom Clancy game, they knew that it had no buzz. So they're like, Microsoft gives us an easy check to get some of our costs back. Yeah, we're gonna take it. That's what they did. I think they also put Origins on because there are a lot of people that don't know which game is which in the series. So they're gonna see Origins be like, oh, that's the first game in the series, and I'll buy that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get you're gonna get people like that are like, oh, that's the first game, so I'll just subscribe to Game Pass. I get to play the first game, and then I can go buy. I think there's some of that marketing behind it.
If that's what they're doing, like if they go Origins and then they get Odyssey and then they get Valhalla on there, then it makes more sense. And this is the first of this new style of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So it is a good place to jump in if you're looking at that, because obviously you're not going to jump into the original Assassin's Creed on this franchise. And I guess we'll talk about jumping into the beginning of franchises later.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So all right. Next up, this one, Burley. He had some things to say about this. Of course, Sonic Origins release date was announced. Of course, it's coming on the 23rd of June. But obviously, with all the other iterations of of this game. Burley, he was he was a little bit upset, to say the least, about this. So I'll start with you, Burley. What do you think of this? First with the release date, and then of course with all these different versions, that they're promoting and stuff.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, Sega's check came in. I love this. Sega's doing a good thing. Hey, I gotta make sure before I start talking out of my ass. I gotta make sure the check cleared. No, this is so stupid that they're doing all this. Like, I don't know. Every time Sega starts to have a good idea with Sonic and start make some good momentum, it's like instinct. Okay, we gotta shoot ourselves in the foot right now.
Yeah.
Like I do not get this. Like if you're gonna have your digital deluxe edition, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's fine. But having it come with like early unlocks and shit like that, no, have it come with some other stuff like that maybe we would want that we don't not necessarily have to buy. And like some of this stuff, like the hard missions, we have no clarification if I can unlock that in the game or I have to buy the digital deluxe. And then some of this you can only get by pre-ordering. It is not a good system. And here's the major thing I don't like: the price point. The price point on this collection is insane. Like for US, I think it was $39.99 for the base, and digital deluxe is $44.99. So for us Canadians here, it's the base is $53.99, and then the digital deluxe $59.99. It is insane. You could have put this for $29.99 US or $19.99 US, and this thing would just sell like hotcakes because it's just at a great price. Because the thing is, like, we've played all these games before. I've played them in multiple collections, and some of them I actually own the cartridges over here. Like, it's nice to see the new animated intros and cutscenes and stuff, and have them instead of not just always be 4x3, and have them go out 16:9, and have like the new stuff like removing the lives and all that and stuff like that, new other features. And I can play Sonic 1 as any character. It's not just Sonic. I can play it as Knuckles or Tails. Or in Sonic 2's case, I can do Knuckles and Tails together. Like, that kind of stuff is neat, but I can't see, in my case in Canada, to spend for the deluxe edition, spend $59.99 plus the 13% tax. So about $70 on this. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, it's a weird thing they're doing here. I think like when I first saw the announcement, I'm like, oh, this looks cool. I think you get, and I think you're getting, I think for $40, I think you're getting a good package of like, what do you get? You get 1, 2, 3 CD and Sonic and Knuckles, right?
Yeah, 3 and K.
Yeah,
because it was originally supposed to be one game. Like game wise, you're getting a good
games though.
Yeah, they were separate games. Yeah,
they were like you can combine them. They were separate games. Like I consider them complete.
I get that.
Yeah, so you're getting what, like, those are 5 games.
Yeah,
I mean that's and they've updated them in some way. Although I don't know if this is the first time they've done that. Is this like an original? Like this remaster is the only way you can play them this way?
This is the only way that you can play in this way. But the thing is,
that's good.
They have done so many collections with some of these features in the last couple of years. Like you could buy that Genesis collection that gives you quite a bit of Genesis games. You can get that even here in Canada for $20, and it gives you 1 and 2, and I think CD.
Yeah, and I get it, but like when I saw the trailer for this and I saw how it looked and saw how it ran, I was like, if you're a really big Sonic fan, you should get this. This is the ultimate package. And yeah, this release thing, this chart looks ridiculous. It's stupid, but it's just about like this DLC. It's a free DLC. That's when you pre-order, that's kind of screwing everything up. And then the fact that they're showing like, oh, and then you can buy it separate. It's basically saying you can buy the original game or you can buy the deluxe. That's really all it should be. And then later they should be like, oh yeah, there's free DLC and you can buy the deluxe stuff later separately. Because that's what this coming soon nonsense is.
Yeah.
So as separate contents, like this chart is just them being stupid and presenting it in a bad way.
Right.
You just got to pre-order and buy the digital deluxe if you want everything. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's dumb because that guy assumed they're going to charge you for this start dash pack free DLC thing if you don't pre-order.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and all that start dash pack gives you 100 coins in the thing. Mirror mode automatically unlocked. I'm okay with like anyone that
so maybe
pre-orders the game. You get a couple if you pre-order day one. They give you a couple unlocks, a couple extra coins for the in-game shop thing. Fine. Like I'm okay with that just to leverage and get people for day one buy.
Right.
But to like some of the other things like the hard mode and stuff like that, the hard missions and stuff like that.
Where's the hard mode thing? Hard missions is part of the deluxe and and you can buy that as DLC later if you want, basically.
So for all of you audio listeners, we're showing the different packs that they're going to be.
I almost think this is an error where this letterbox background is just not part of the digital deluxe edition. Like, why is that not part of it? But I guess because that's
that letterbox background. How you get that is you have to pre-order the game.
Oh yeah, that's what it shows.
Yeah. This is so.
But then if you buy the premium fun pack later, if you didn't buy the digital deluxe, you get it. So it's like, I guess because you wouldn't buy I don't know. They're still gonna sell. It's stupid. It just. I don't think this is a big deal. I think this is something that we can all talk about and laugh at and say, look how stupid Sega is. But at the end of the day, like once the game's out, people just can forget about this. If it's fun, if it's a good version, people can play it and like it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So next up, Tales from the Borderlands. A new Tales from the Borderlands is going to be released later this year. So with new characters. There was a lot of news from Gearbox this week. Of course, PAX East is going on, and so this was revealed. So I'm excited because I really like Tales from the Borderlands. It's kind of interesting that it's took so long. Obviously, Burley and I, we talked about this on the morning show that, of course they, Gearbox was, focused on Borderlands 3 and all. But this game came out in 2014, the first Tales from the Borderlands, and it was episodic. So I'm wondering if they're going to shift gears here, Gearbox, and make it just one full game now. But anyway, Burley, your thoughts on the Tales from the Borderlands? I know that you weren't so much into this, but what are your thoughts?
I'm glad for those that wanted it are getting another Tales of the Borderlands game. Please do the new thing of the new Wolf Among Us 2 and the last Life is Strange game. Please don't make people that buy this have to wait months and months to get the full product, because that was something I've always hated with the Telltale business model of we'll give you 1 or 2 episodes of the 5 and you got to wait. Because like I did that for the Guardians game. I remember buying that and I was like, oh, now I got to wait 2.5 months for the next part. There's such small content. So hopefully it's all in one. And I'm still shocked because I think we looked it up. The game came out in 2015 or 2014.
2014, yes.
2014.
Yeah.
So it's now going to get a sequel. They've just decided now. Like I know Borderlands is huge.
Yeah.
And like that this is going to come this year.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Well, who's making this? Because this was a Telltale game.
Yeah.
Apparently Gearbox, I think, is going to work on it now. So, I don't know.
So like, I understand why the delay, because Telltale's gone. Well, someone else is animating their corpse right now. We'll see how that goes.
It is being worked on by Gearbox. Being made by Gearbox.
Yeah. So, and there's like I said earlier, I mean, they're going to have new characters and everything. So it's, I don't know. Carl, did you ever play Tales from the Borderlands?
I did not.
Okay. So it's it's a Telltale game, but I mean, yeah, the
Yeah.
characters were fun, and there were a lot of humorous moments and all. So it's
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that this is one of the best Telltale games.
yeah.
I just
What are those
only
people on?
I don't know, but I've only ever played, for the most part, Walking Dead season 2 because I got it free
Wow.
on like Steam or something like that.
Oh, you never played the first one. Okay.
I played the first chapter because also I had that free.
Yeah, because Xbox gave that away for free.
Yeah.
So, and hey, if I want to tie it into our main topic, I think weirdly you can just skip ahead to season 2, and it works. I still enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I just don't. I'd like the Telltale games are cool. I like the idea and the concept, but I don't think they're amazing.
I for the ones I've played, it depends on how much they did. Like the Wolf Among Us, I can't believe I slept on that game because I bought that for the PS4.
Oh yeah, you played that recently, yeah. Bro.
Yeah, I streamed that. I think it was either January or February, and boy, I love that game.
Yeah, it was great.
A great story and all that, and like I'm really looking forward to Wolf Among Us too.
Yeah,
like that I could see that for me is the best of their games. I really did enjoy this. Like for me, hearing people think Tales of the Borderlands was the best, I was like, this was just a game I played to get the platinum because PlayStation gave it for free. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Borderlands guy, but most of the characters, like the male character there, could give two shits. He had no personality to me. His one side lackey, the guy that worked at the one freaking company there and he was secretly slushing money around so that way they had money for their adventure fund. He had personality, but I did like the female character here. She was really good in it.
Yeah,
you don't get her enough.
Yeah, I mean, in Tales from the Borderlands, I mean, Reese and Fiona, I mean, the two main characters that are in the image here for those of you watching it on video format here. I mean, they were cool characters, and all of the side characters as well. They were pretty interesting and funny, so as well. So, and then of course the other characters from some of the mainstream Borderlands games showed up at some point in the game as well. So. All right.
Yeah, I've never played a Borderlands game, so this wasn't something that I was gonna get interested in.
I see.
Well, I tried Borderlands 2 because I got it on something free.
I
probably Xbox Live Gold, I think, at some point.
Yeah, I guess of the three of us, I'm more into the Borderlands games. I've played through 3/4 of Borderlands 3, so I'm still making my way through that. But
no, I do want to try Tiny Tina. Because I've seen a certain streamers, and it's like, ooh, this actually looks fun.
Yeah,
and this looks crazy and everything. So
cool. All right, and next up, this news came out actually just after we recorded the Friday edition of the morning show. Splatoon 3's release date. Splatoon 3 releases on September 9th. What are you guys' thoughts on this? September. I really thought this game was going to come in the summer, because I've said this time and time again that out here in Japan, especially, August is the month of summer vacation for all the kids. And it's Splatoon is really huge out here, as well as I'm sure in the West. But September 9th. What are your thoughts on this? Carl, I'll start with you on this. Do you think this is a little late, or what do you think?
It's Splatoon. I mean, is it? Who cares, right? This isn't news. What are we doing here? I don't know. They moved the other game, right? The Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, right? They moved that up. So maybe that's why this date moved here, or landed here.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is you don't think this is, being that it comes out in September and not in the summer months, will not affect sales whatsoever.
I don't see why it would. If you're a fan of Splatoon, you're gonna get it. I mean, the second game was, I think, did significantly better than the first.
Right.
And I mean, it's just, I honestly don't think release dates matter anymore.
Okay.
As far as like time of year,
okay.
If you as long as you're not butting up against something else major, that's going to be a huge problem for your game, like, Elden Ring and for Horizon Forbidden West situation.
Mhm.
I mean, doesn't really matter when you put out a game. People will buy them when they come out, wherever
Okay.
they are.
Yeah. Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it comes September, and yeah, the second one did better than the first, but that was mainly because it's a Wii U versus Switch, and the Switch, I think, easily had outsold the Wii U's lifetime
For sure.
by the time Splatoon 2 came out,
Yeah.
double the numbers
Yeah.
at that point, at least easy. So I'm surprised this would have this game's going to be huge no matter what with kids. But
Yeah.
I think the summer would have been like, if you could have got this out for August,
Yeah.
this thing would have been huge because you got all the with all the kids being off on summer vacation and all that.
Yeah, but I think as I listen to Carl speak about this, I kind of have to agree with him that this is going to sell. Probably going to sell. I was surprised that it's September, but it's probably going to sell no matter when. I mean, especially next year, come summer. Oh, it's going to be huge even then too. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, and they do usually give good on keeping the content up on these games.
Yeah.
But that's just my thing. Is like I've tried the demos with the test splats. I just couldn't never get enough into Splatoon for me to drop, because it is a first party Nintendo. These game prices don't drop much.
Right.
By the time Splatoon 2 had its drop, all the content had come out, and it's like, do I want to spend, because I think it went down from 79 here to 59, and it's like, do I still want to spend about almost $70 on this and find out I'm going to get bored pretty quick?
Right. So are any of you gonna pick this up? I'm probably gonna pick this up because there's a lot of my students and a lot of people out here in Japan that are gonna be playing this multiplayer. So I might actually even try to stream some of this with them. But I don't know. Burley, what about you? Are you gonna pick up Splatoon 3?
I have no desire to pick this up.
No desire, huh? Carl, how about you?
No, I don't play almost any multiplayer games. Why would I play this kids multiplayer game on a Switch? Come on.
Okay. But when your daughter reaches a certain age, do you think you would play this with her?
No, she's gonna play better games. I'm sorry, Splatoon fans. I'm sure it's good.
No, this game ain't turn-based.
Give me turn-based Splatoon. Yeah, RPG. That'd be good. Yeah, great.
All right. So next up, there was a lot of talk recently about whether or not Microsoft and Sony are going to implement ads in their games. And so I just want to get your thoughts, Burley and Carl, on this. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that think that, and a lot of publications that are saying it's coming, and like a Business Insider, of course, they were also talking about this. But there's a lot that might be a kind of a negative when it comes to actually putting ads in particular games, especially publishers or advertisers, especially advertisers that don't want to have their ads in like really gory and graphic games. But I mean, there are advertisements in games, obviously, but I mean, Microsoft and Sony, supposedly it looks like they're probably going to start implementing ads more in games. What are your guys' thoughts on this, and what do you think is going to happen? Is it going to happen, or do you think these advertisers are gonna kind of become more apprehensive to actually doing this? Carl, I'll start with you on this. Are we going to start seeing, particularly on Sony and Microsoft games, more advertisements?
Well, okay. I think it's important to note that when the first thing that came out was the Microsoft one, and actually way before that, there was some patent from Sony as well, talking about ads to games. But the Microsoft one was specifically talking about free to play games. Yeah. And there's no reason I wouldn't expect something like that to happen for free to play games. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care what happens to free to play games because I don't play free to play games for the most part. I understand why you would do that because, again, it's free. And you need to monetize that in any way possible. And advertisement is a good way to monetize something.
Okay.
Now, the danger of this is if it's something egregious, like you're playing the game and all of a sudden an ad, pops up instead of a loading screen. You're just watching an ad. Like that's
Yeah.
really annoying.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to like that.
Yeah.
And you'll probably, but then again, it's going to police itself in that like gamers will protest and it'll be a huge stink and they'll have to get rid of it very quickly.
Yeah. So, Burley, your thoughts? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with Carl. And
Here,
yeah,
like for example, here's Burley. He's streaming a game, and then like the ZipRecruiter advertisement comes up right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, if I saw that stuff, that would drive me nuts. But like, there's been ads in games for years. Like a 360 game, Burnout Paradise.
Right.
I like that game, but that has so many billboard ads for it.
Yeah.
But, like that's fine. Like and I get it with the free, as Carl said, the free to play. Yeah, they're gonna put the ads in there because they're gonna make their money up one way or another. You're either gonna pay for crap in there that they want you to buy because they're gonna make the game way too grindy, so you have to pay for it, or they're gonna give you the ads. The ads are in there because they're gonna get their money out of you one way or another.
Yeah.
Because they're not giving you a free game out of the goodness of their heart.
No, of course not.
They're corporations.
Right.
That's.
I mean, Fortnite, right, with all their guest characters. I mean, those are basically ads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just added Moon Knight to Fortnite. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an ad for the show.
Yep.
Go watch Moon Knight, guys, after you play with Moon Knight in Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean, you got this with the potential having more advertisements in these type of games, and then of course the controversy with NFTs and all that and stuff like that. It's just it's being compounded this year, unfortunately. So.
I'd rather see an ad than I would NFTs in game.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think some people... ads depending on how they do the ads. If it's in the background, like if I'm playing, let's say I'm playing Call of Duty, and on the side of a building, you just see, even if I don't look at that building, but there's just an ad for, I don't know, go get me some Taco Bell or whatever. If I can run past it, I don't have to really glance at it, and it's not so overtly in my face and pushed in my face. Fine, whatever. It's when it's pushed in, like if I'm at loading screens and it's ads for companies and stuff like that, that's when I'm going to get mad. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I've seen people are worried that this could lead to ads in paid games, but I don't think you have anything to worry about because as it is right now, there's an expectation always that when you pay for a product, you're not going to get ads in it. Like you can pay for ad-free streaming stuff. You can pay. You buy a movie, there's not ads in the movie,
right?
Cable's different. There's commercials there. I get that. But product placement is different, and that's not going to change. It's not going to go away, but it already exists. I mean, Quantum Break had, I forgot what brand of cars in it. Death Stranding had Monster Energy drinks in it.
Yeah.
The other game had the batteries.
Duracell.
Alan Wake had the batteries. Was it Duracell or Energizer?
Duracell or Energizer, one of the two,
Right.
Oh, and what was it? Super Monkey Ball, the first one, had the Dole bananas.
That's funny. I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No one's gonna like. You're gonna buy a $60 game, and there's gonna be an ad somewhere in the middle. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and I mean these are free to play games. I mean, I don't think it's going to dissuade people from actually playing these games. I mean, they don't care. It's free, so
yeah.
Okay, let's get to our topic of the show. So this past week I was thinking of some games that I've played in the past, some franchises, and I actually, like, for example, with Uncharted, I played Uncharted 2 first.
Me too.
And I was
Nani?
Burley's always got to try to use his Japanese. Yeah, Nani. Nani means what? Yeah. Like I said, Burley, I started with Uncharted 2, and I was, And I look back on it, it's like, should I have started with 1 first? Were there some any particular details about that game, like an Uncharted 1, that I should have known about before I played Uncharted 2? Well, and maybe there's gamers out there that are like, they don't care. They're just, they want to play the latest iteration of a series. But then again, there's some gamers probably out there that they think that, hey, I think maybe I should try try the game from the very beginning, from the very first game that came out in the series. So I kind of wanted to talk about that with you guys tonight, and talk about some game series that you think that, hey, maybe you probably should start from the beginning, or hey, it's okay, it's cool to start from the latest iteration of that game because you're not going to miss much. So, and maybe in the latest iteration of the game there are kind of flashbacks, or kind of an overview of the first couple of games, maybe like there are in like TV series, or like in movies, particular movies, like a second movie. So anyway, what are your thoughts, and what are some series that you would recommend to start from the beginning, or it's okay to start from the latest iteration? So Burley, I'll start with you on this one. um, what are your thoughts, your personal thoughts, and would you start from the beginning of the series, or should you start from the latest iteration? And what series would you recommend to start at the beginning or start from the latest iteration?
There's just a giant, it depends on the series, because there are some games that are better for you to go start at the beginning. There's some series that are better for you to start at the latest release and go back.
Okay.
I think for starting at the latest release, I'll bring up with Dragon Quest. I'll go Dragon Quest 11S, because that game is a little more easier to get into than the original Dragon Quest, and it's not as grindy of a game.
Okay.
But you can at least get in and then give you kind of the appreciation to make you want to go back, try the other games, and see how the series started and kind of evolved as it went along.
Yeah.
But as for game series to play in the beginning, like I'll go my easy ones with like Sonic, so you could see how the mechanics started and changed as they went over time. But there are plenty of series that I can easily say that you can jump in whether they have the story or not. But a lot of more modern games have been better of giving you recaps. So if you haven't played the latest game or stuff like that, like Psychonauts 2, if you didn't play any of the Psychonauts games, they have the little videos there for you to give you stuff about the VR game and the first game, because I think the sequel came about like 20 years after the original.
Yeah.
So they give you little recap videos for anyone that has never played, or you played it 20 years ago but you do not remember the story.
Yeah, and then of course the longevity of the series too. I mean, like for an example of a game that doesn't have that much of a longevity yet. I mean, there's only been 2 games, like Horizon, for example. If there's a lot of people that say, could I play Horizon Forbidden West without playing Zero Dawn? Well, I would say yes, because there is a recap. I mean, at the beginning of the game, so you could see what happens, But I mean, other series that have maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 games, maybe you might want to start from the beginning. I don't know, but anyway, Carl, what about you? Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm of the belief that you should start. I mean, look, wherever you want, really. Like, it's up to you. No one should tell you.
Obviously.
No one should tell you have to. I hate when people say like, "Oh, you got to start from the beginning. Like, you got to play it all." Like, no. You should play, in my opinion, just play the latest and greatest version of a franchise you're interested in, because sometimes with video games it's different than like movies. Like, it's easy to say like, yeah, start with the beginning of a movie franchise, right? It's not a big investment, and for the most part, the process of making a film hasn't changed hugely. It's not that different, right? I mean, visual effects and everything are better, but like video games, you go back like 10 years and then again 20 years. What is capable of doing at that time is completely different. So you might not enjoy that aspect. Like if you're a modern gamer, if you're younger, like You can tell a younger person to go back and play a 20-year-old game. They're gonna be like, "What is this garbage? Like, why am I playing this?" You know. Whereas someone maybe they could appreciate that if they started later and love the franchise, and then they're like, all right, I'm curious, I will go back now, and then you can forgive maybe older aspects because you understand like this is where the franchise came from.
Yeah.
So for the most part, yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I jump into the newer game, and as long as it's a good entry, like, yeah, I'm not going to jump into a franchise where there's like 4 games and the latest one is garbage. Like, that's a bad idea, you know, when the rest of them are good.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that, yeah, I mean, it's like we're not trying to tell gamers, oh, you must, you should, or you have to, you know, to start from the beginning of a series. Yeah, but I mean, like,
yeah. Never let anyone pressure you into that either.
Exactly, exactly. But I mean, like, let's say Carl, for example, and Burley. I mean, a series like Mass Effect. Could you start Mass Effect 3 and not have played the first 2?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I do think there are some exceptions where you're going to hurt maybe your experience by starting later on. Mass Effect is a good example. I think 3 would be really challenging to start 3 and really enjoy that franchise. But I think you could start at 2. Just because I would say, because my recent experience of trying to play the Legendary Collection, which I wasn't planning on playing through it that much, probably anyway. But starting the first one from the beginning and then starting the second one from the beginning, close to each other, just to see how they feel. Yeah, I think you should play maybe the second one just to really enjoy yourself more. And then if you really love that, go back and get the rest of the story, because the first game just doesn't feel very good by modern standards.
Yeah. Okay, I'll throw one more series out here for you, Carl. Dead Space. You played Dead Space 3 recently.
Yeah, I played all 3 of them.
Okay. So you have played all 3 of them now. Okay.
I did. I started the first game, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and I played all 3 of them.
Okay. And how did you feel? You started with 3, right?
No. Started at 1.
No,
okay.
He said 3 is the best, though.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my favorite. Is it the best? I think they're all really good games. So
yeah. But I think that's a series though where you should probably start from the first game to get a feel for the character of Isaac and what he's going through and things like that.
Yeah.
His backstory in a sense, but. Yeah.
I think you could jump into any of those because they're all kind of the same. Like, especially 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is that very much that like we're just doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
So you skipped 1. Well, 1's probably. I mean, maybe people think 1 is the best. I don't know, but I think you could ask a lot of people, and you might get different answers for that franchise. But usually, I think 1 is considered the best.
Yeah, I believe it is. I mean, and the story elements to it as well.
Yeah. I mean, like your Telltale games, maybe Walking Dead. But then I told you earlier in the show that I played season 2, and I think it worked on its own, even without thing. And I think, to me, that's my argument is that if you're a game developer and you're making a video game, you need to make, I think, a product that stands on its own, regardless of the fact that it's a sequel.
Yeah.
And I think if you fail at that, I think you may have made a bad game because possibly it should never be 100% dependent on having known or enjoyed what came before. Especially with most video games that are, a lot of video games are 30 plus hours. Like, you cannot have the expectation that your player has played a 30-hour experience in order to enjoy another 30-hour experience.
Right.
But there's sorry, I was going to say there's so many series that have numbers and stuff like that, like Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda. You can play any of them; it doesn't matter. Like most of them are not tied together, so it doesn't matter where you jump in and play. You can play Final Fantasy 7 first, but it's not going to matter that you played 1 through 6 beforehand.
What about the Metal Gear games?
Look, the story doesn't make sense even if you play all of them. It's directly in a row. So
I know. I was gonna say. I mean, I just wanted to see your guys' reactions to that. But I mean, Yeah,
So-
the
so-
backstory of Snake, though. I don't know, man. It's a,
well, that
what
you
do
have
you
to
guys
play
think?
in like in a weird order because you got to go 3 because
Yeah.
3 is the game set in the past.
Right. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
play, I think it's like Peace Walker or something takes place before 1. For that,
And then
it's
5,
just,
right? 5 is before 1.
I never played 5 because it was like
Yeah.
I was done after 4. I was like, okay, this is enough.
Carl, what about the
don't-
Infamous series?
Well, you probably, obviously you can play Second Son on its own because it's a different character.
Okay.
You would probably want to play Infamous 1 before 2, I would say. It's
Okay.
very significant things that happen in the story that I think are important to know.
Mhm.
It's been a long time, so I don't know how well it would hold up
Yeah.
starting at 2.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think one's the better story.
Okay.
Oh yeah, one has the much
Yeah.
better story.
Yeah.
Let me throw another series at you guys. BioShock.
Never played them, so.
Never
Burley.
played them.
Oh.
Burley?
I've played them. You can like a lot of people shit on 2,
Yeah.
but you can play 2 without playing 1. I think you'll get the best enjoyment out of playing 1 first.
Playing one first.
before-
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I'm of the odd mindset. I like 2 better than 1.
Okay.
But like Infinite, you can play Infinite and never play BioShock 1 or 2.
Okay. One more
You're
series I'll throw at you guys. One more. The Witcher series.
Well, that one's super obvious, right? Because like the majority of people who play The Witcher have started at 3 now.
Yeah.
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 For what I've heard, that people that have played 1 and 2,
Mhm.
they say you get little little dialogue moments that'll hit extra hard, and I think there's like a character that's in all 3 games or mentioned in all 3 games, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I remember hearing about him from 1 back in like 97 or 2001 when the first game came out.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, that's great, but from what I hear, everyone's like, you can totally Witcher 1 and 2 do not have to exist for you to
Yeah.
really enjoy 3.
Okay, here's how about the Arkham series?
I've never played them, so I can't
Oh, really?
say anything.
Wow.
I don't know. I played 1 and 2, and I didn't play Origins or Night.
I played
whatever it
Arkham
was.
Knight first.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah. So and then I
So-
went back and played, Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. But
What about Origins?
Yeah.
Did you play as Adam West Batman?
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I when I played Arkham Knight, I got the most out of that. I don't think I needed to play it from the beginning of the series, but yeah, that's
even from a gameplay mechanics standpoint, video games are iterative for the most part. Like they're usually building off of what worked in the previous game and making it better. You want it to play better, right? You try not to change too much sometimes, but ultimately you're trying to improve it. And usually they succeed in most cases. So it's weird to say that like you should go back and play the first game to understand this franchise. I'm like, maybe you're kind of like torturing yourself in a bit with some franchises. Like it's cool as a study if you love video games, it's something you're really into and you want to understand and see like how this game built up to what it is now, then do that. But
that's exactly how I was with the Assassin's Creed series. I wanted to play it from the beginning, Yeah, for the historical aspects of it and the characters. And all stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's always best to recommend someone start with a really good entry in a franchise and probably the one with the most modern feel. So, and generally those are the latest editions. Maybe you go back 1 or so, but you don't want to turn someone off of a franchise because you're like, start with this really old one because that's where the story begins. And, you might have to struggle through some of the gameplay, but it's totally worth it. Like, but then they might just,
particularly when there's
want to play it.
Right. Particularly when there's been like 10 games in the series or something like that, and the first game came out like 20 years ago, like Lara Croft, for example, that would be a good example, I guess, the very first Lara Croft game, compared to the one that came out like, in 2015, I think it was of the latest trilogy series.
Yeah, and I think this is also something that game developers have thought about a lot because if you've noticed, this is not too, maybe, I don't know how long this started ago, but when they started to start dropping numbers for most franchises and starting adding subtitles.
Yeah.
Because they started to realize that like it's cumbersome to say like this is the Assassin's Creed 8. People are gonna be like, oh wow, there's 7 games before this. It's like I don't know. So now they stopped at 3, and even though like 4 was Black Flag, that was like I guess the transition period where they're like, it's Black Flag, it's not really 4. Just fine, just play it. That's really what they were trying to do at that point.
All right. So many series out there, and whether or not to start at the beginning or start from the latest entry. It's we leave it up to you gamers. Yes. So do what you want and enjoy the games, whether it's the first game in the series or the latest iteration. That's all we have to say there. So, all right. So next up, guys, let's go to our new game releases for the week of April 25th through May 1st. Gosh, guys, we're almost in May. Can you believe it? It's like almost May already, man. So, all right, we will start. Carl, I'll start with you this time. So what do you have for us?
Week.
Yeah, your pick of the week.
I have Dune Spice Wars.
Yay. Okay.
This is coming to PC on April 26th. It is an early access release. It is a real-time strategy game with 4X elements from the developers of the critically acclaimed Northgard. I don't know what that is. Set in Frank Herbert's groundbreaking Dune universe, you must lead your faction and battle for control and dominance over the harsh desert planet of Arrakis. And if you know, I mean, I don't know where this 4X name came from. It's that what they're talking about is like it's not just it's not like a Warcraft, Starcraft like real-time strategy. There's the build, the other aspects of it, like the Sim City sort of elements, the civilization stuff. Like it's like all that stuff combined into a bigger thing than just battles after battle.
Yeah. It does look pretty, that's for sure.
Yeah, these games are interesting. Crusader Kings 3 is a form of this.
Okay.
In a sense, it's not quite as it's much less battle heavy than something like this.
Let's see.
But these games, I find these games interesting. And this is if this one's really good. Obviously, I don't buy a lot of games, so I'm probably not going to play it. But but it looks good. It does look good.
Yeah. Burley, what are your thoughts on this?
It looks interesting. This looks like something I may try one day. But these are the kind of games like I have to be in these kind of mood to sit and play one of these. Because like these are one of the games where I got to turn off my phone and everything for like 2 hours and just sit and play. Can't have distractions, especially on one of these games, because like you turn away your head to go look at someone that's trying to talk to you and you've missed like 15 things have gone on and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. All right, Burley, you're up next. What do you got for us?
I got Light Fairy Tale Episode 1. It's coming Thursday, April 24th to Switch, PS4, and the Xbox One. Light Fairy Tale is a 3D turn-based Japanese-style RPG set in a dying underground world ruled by a fierce, powerful empire. The goal of this project is to bring back the immersion and emotion of 90s era JRPGs, but with modern graphics and gameplay systems.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was on early access on Steam, but like if you look at this and like some of the later scenes and the music, you get Final Fantasy VII vibes. And
turn-based, huh? Yeah.
Yes, and they are having it is pretty budget friendly. The nice thing too, and I think they are having on most of the platforms. If you pre-order ahead, you save 10%. So it's a nice little thing.
Oh, but it's got that like chibi art style.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy, World of Final Fantasy used that. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, now I see. Look at the text box. I'm like, that's Final Fantasy VII right there.
Oh, the music and some of the locations, and FF7 is my favorite game.
Yeah,
So
apologies, we can't play the music, of course, for
Oh,
copyright purposes, obviously. But anyway, so
oh,
yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the street design looks interesting and all. So yeah, but anyway, all right, all right.
What you
So
got,
anyway, yeah,
What you got
my
for us?
turn. What do I have for you guys? I have, of course, Nintendo Switch Sports. Yes, coming out on the 29th. So get moving with soccer, volleyball, bowling, tennis, badminton, and chambara, swordplay, using Joy-Con controllers. Controls are intuitive, so you can hit the court or lanes or field or arena, the arena, yeah, and get started with controlled motions. You can curve your bowling ball, add spin to a tennis shot, or even use a Joy-Con with the included leg strap accessory to kick the ball in a soccer shootout. Family and friends can join in on the fun on the same system or online. Plus, a seventh sport is planned to be added via a free update this fall. So get ready to golf. Yeah, so you got bowling, you got tennis, you got, soccer, volleyball, badminton. Yeah, so a lot of stuff coming. Yeah, and Burley and I, we talked about this on the morning show when this was announced. This is going to be a huge sell. And this is going to be all over the place, and especially out here in Japan for Japanese families and their kids and stuff playing this. Just like during the Wii days. Yeah, this is going to be a big hit, I think. So comes out on the 29th.
Badminton. Ooh.
Yeah.
oh,
Hey, badminton, Carl.
Now you got me. I'm in.
Badminton is huge out here in Japan, especially in the junior highs and the elementary school. Yeah, and
I
high
love
schools.
that.
Yeah.
I love badminton. My
Yeah.
parents have a net, and we'll set it up in the summer.
Yeah.
I like bowling. And the smart thing is they did not go full game price. They went for budget pricing here, because they knew this would because you knew you could get this in a home. So it's gonna be interesting. I know this game is
these special lanes. That's interesting. It's like sort of like gimmicky things going on in the lane there. That was neat.
Yeah.
And the giant soccer ball.
Yeah.
The size of the characters.
And 4-on-4. Yeah, 4-on-4.
Where's pickleball? That's like a popular thing in Florida for like.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of pickleball.
Yeah, man, it's weird. Neither did I until I moved here. So,
what do you think of that leg strap accessory there?
Does it come with that? I know that's existed already.
I don't know.
If you buy physically, you get the game.
Buy physically, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Digitally, you save a little money, but physically, because you get a couple of the straps.
Yeah. So this is a chambara, of course, kind of like kendo, kind of.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
you could do twin swords. Oh boy.
Yeah.
What about 3 swords? Come on, I can't put the third one in my mouth and be like Zoro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this look, it's a motion control game. I don't know how that does today. Like you said, Japan's different.
Yeah.
This was like a fad that was huge when the Wii came out, and it burned out pretty quickly, I'd say.
Maybe in the West.
Kinect,
Yeah,
right?
maybe in the West. Yeah.
The Kinect was interesting and it sold well enough. PlayStation tried it with the Move controller, and that was a huge failure.
Yeah.
But remember, Ring Fit was huge. Ring Fit is huge still.
Ring Fit's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Like, because Ring Fit, I like the idea of Ring Fit because it's an exercise program specifically, but it's also an adventure game as well.
Yeah,
they did something very special with that. This is like just hearkening back to the old days and like just making a new version of it.
Yeah, is
that going to be enough? I mean, it looks better. There's more to it. We'll see. I mean, it's a Switch game. It's going to sell well. It's in first-party Nintendo Switch, of course.
Yes.
Can't deny those.
I'm still surprised they're not launching with all the games at once. Like that, they're like, oh yeah, we're launching this, but golf, it's coming in the fall.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, like that I don't get. Like, was it like? Are we
character creation?
Yeah,
I have to say. Thank you for not having the garbage ass Miis from the previous generation. Oh no, there they are. Get away. Go away. No. Why? My eyes.
All
'Cause
right. Okay.
Ooh, you get the shadow set.
Nice. All right. So for all you video viewers, of course, or for you audio viewers, of course, or listeners, audio listeners, yeah, we're just talking about the character creation, and we're showing the video here for a lot of the, the sports that are going to be in Nintendo Switch Sports. So,
What do you guys think? Okay, is success for this game and failure? Like, we know it's going to sell a lot, but like first month or week, whatever, like when they announce like the early, like it sold really well, like how many million copies do you think it needs to sell to say like that was what we expected or better than,
in the first week,
yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, like when they announce
Yeah.
like the first like milestone, like what do we think it should possibly need to hit in order to say like, all right, that was like as big as you would expect or want it to be or better?
I don't
5
know.
million.
5?
I'm gonna go.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go 5 million because
Okay.
that's pretty. It's just because of what this game is going for.
Mhm.
I think 5 million's a pretty for the first 2 to 3 weeks of sales.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that sounds. I'm thinking somewhere around that range. So yeah, so like if it does like 2, 3, like that would be kind of a problem. Let's say.
Yeah, maybe.
Even though that's really good for a lot of games, like this is a game like the expectation is it should be huge, right?
Yeah, I mean, on a global standpoint, I mean,
Yeah.
I can see 5-6 million definitely in Japan. Yeah, first week, probably. I don't know about out there in the U.S. and in Canada, but yeah, probably out here it's gonna sell like hotcakes in the first week.
I think it'll sell. I think it'll sell quite well over here in. I'll just say Canada. No, we don't really have sales numbers because we're tied with the US.
Yeah.
I think it's going to sell well because you're going to get a lot of people that with like the health conscious and all that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Ooh, it's a mobile activity thing, and I can get my kids and all family and a budget price, multiple games in one.
Yeah.
It's just gonna have a huge sales number. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I'm just gonna check the little GameStop around me if I can still actually pre-order, because the last couple times, like when I was showing you talk about the Lego Star Wars, that got sold out quick.
Yeah, and I think physical copies are going to out here in Japan. Physical copies are going to sell more, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious how deep the game is too, because it looks like there's more to it, which it needs to, because the other two, which is like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort, is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, did that one come bundled with something? I don't remember.
It came if you bought the early versions of Wii Sports Resort, you got the Motion Plus.
Okay,
add-on.
it did, right? That's what it was.
Yeah,
okay.
I never picked up that game. I tried it in stores, but it was like I wanted to buy it, but for the price of that, I could have bought some. I bought other games that I was more interested in.
Yeah. So what I was getting at with this is like this game always felt like it's a tie-in for a piece of hardware, and it's not a full game, right? It's like an experience. I wouldn't say a demo. It's a bit more than a demo, but like it was always the first Wii Sports to me was like, this is what our system is capable of, and here's all interesting things you can do with it. And it was. I think that game is, obviously the game's successful because it came with every system, and you can't count the sales that it made because that's not really realistic. So it's interesting to see this is the first one of this franchise that doesn't come with anything. It's just the system's been out for a long time. Here it is. Let's see how it sells.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So Carl, we got our second batch of Game Pass games for the second half of April. So let's go through those. What do we got, man?
We got nonsense and crap now. we have all right. I skip these cloud ones, but I'll just quickly say you have F1 2021 on cloud. Yeah. You have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered coming to cloud. Yeah. And you have these are already out, by the way, so I'm not saying the date. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion coming to cloud, console, and PC.
Tax evasion. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Wesley Snipe game.
Yes, yeah. Which is weirdly like this is like a Zelda-like game, which is I don't know why it's
Uh-huh.
called this, but that's what it is.
Hmm.
Then you have 7 Days to Die coming cloud, console, and PC on April 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Research and Destroy cloud and PC April 26th.
Okay,
Then Bug Snacks on April 28th, cloud, console, PC.
cool.
And Unsold on cloud and console and PC April 28th.
All right. Yeah, I'm interested in playing Bug Snacks. I mean, since it's coming to Game Pass now. I mean, of course, it was one of the launches for the PS5, but yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it on the Series X. So,
So I'm not sure about Research and Destroy. I know 7 Days to Die is an older game.
Yeah.
Bug Snacks is launching into Game Pass for Xbox. Same goes for Turnip Boy, and as I think that was on maybe Switch before.
Mhm.
Unsold, I believe, is this is in a launch as well. Like it's an indie game. It may have had early access, but it's an indie. It looks pretty cool visually. It's not a game that I'd be into, but
Yeah, I see. Cool. All right, so those are the second batch of April games coming to Game Pass. So be sure to check those out if you are a Game Pass subscriber, whether on, of course, on console or PC, or if you can get them on the cloud. So yeah, or if you're an Ultimate subscriber as well. So all right. So some announcements. Of course, Burley and I we recorded our episode of Star Trek Picard, of course, of season 2, episode 7. We're going to be recording our episode 8 recap, reaction, spoilers episode this coming Monday. So stay tuned for that. And of course, after this episode, we're going to be recording our latest episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, pertaining to Moon Knight. So stay tuned for that. Of course, it will go up in early access to our Patreon at patreon.com/the arena_podcast. So you can go there and check out how to become a patron and support us and get all of our content early and ad-free. Ad-free, yeah. Like we were talking about tonight, ad-free, yeah.
Right.
No ads, no advertisements in it. And then, of course, after early access, it will go public to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the arena productions. So be sure to come and check out our videos there. All of our content, once it goes public, goes to our YouTube channel. So you can hit that like and subscribe button and, yeah, enjoy the content. And be sure to watch it in its entirety to support our channel. So we appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming and watching our content. So, all right. So to end the episode, before we end the episode, guys, I want to ask what you're going to be playing this coming week. Of course, I'm still getting into Watch Dogs Legion, so I'll probably be continuing with that. Carl, what are you going to play this upcoming week?
Yeah, I have to make a decision because I got nothing that I'm definitely playing. I'm looking at the dates. Okay, so I might try Weird West. That's kind of, I think, on my docket right now. I got that installed.
Yeah, that's my indie game that I want to try to get started on too. So.
Yeah, I'm checking the date because I believe 28th is the day for Lost Eidolon's like beta sort of test.
Okay.
Their second beta, which you can get into on Xbox. Well, not at this point. I think it's too late to sign up, but it was in the program on that, so that's cool. You get to play an early or a beta sort of test on Xbox. I played the PC one, so I'm excited for that. That's a turn-based tactical strategy RPG made by a Korean studio. So yeah, I will definitely play that on when that comes out. Cool.
Burley, how about you?
For me, well, hopefully finish up Strangers of Paradise, and I'll be starting up Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Nice.
And keep playing more Three Houses.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I want you to clip it when you do the Order 66. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get through Order 67 first, where the Stormtrooper stands.
Yeah. That's good stuff. All right, so to end the episode, our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Frank Bentley. Frank Bentley is a hip-hop artist and rapper based in Florida. Aspiring to create captivating stories through music and imagery, His style flows between forceful, in-your-face delivery to songs that helps you heal. From his album titled Control, and the song is called Who in Control. So this has been the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast, episode 83. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming on Twitch and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Hand on the game, we are not playing the same. No, we not looking to change. Hand on the wheel, they think we lacking the drive. Boy, you should stay in your lane. Foot on the gas, I do not care if I crash, long as I stick to the plan. What is the plan? I cannot lie for none of you, long as I know who I am. I'm in control, God got his hand on my soul. And if I land and he got the remote, made it this far, it's a miracle, miracle. Anything less is cynical, cynical. Staying true, I can't lie in your interview. Tell the truth while you lie with your interview. And your acting is so hypocritical. In control, nothing more, this is minimum. Can't stop now, I'ma grind till I'm ghost. I thank God how he held me down the most. Can't stop now, gotta grind till I'm ghost. Gotta thank God how he held me down the most.
Got the whole team on my back. I ain't worried about no stats. No time to compete with so-and-so. No time to compete with so-and-so. I ain't got a brag when I'm in my bag. No, no, no. Been through a lot, don't know the half. No, no, no. When I'm on drive, never lose control. Hand on the game, never lose control. It ain't my fault that I'm in control. When I'm on drive, never lose control.
On a mission, on the move, gotta go, no, no. Ain't no time to waste my time, we don't slow down. You can at me in dimensions, big dog in dimensions. We be aiming for the fences, I'm in a different dimension. Why y'all be riding the benches? Y'all could just cut through the tension. Graduated from the trenches, no cap and down. I ain't never need a handout, on my 2 feet, I'ma stand out. I ain't never take a loss now, ain't gon' start now, at the top now, and I know. Can't stop now, I'ma grind till I'm ghost. I thank God how he held me down the most. Can't stop now, gotta grind till I'm ghost. Gotta thank God how he held me down the most.
Got the whole team on my back. I ain't worried about no stats. No time to compete with so-and-so. No time to compete with so-and-so.